Just sounds like Trap Queen. Today on DNVR Buffs Domata Peko is the Buffs defensive line coach, and we are excited about that, but it's also a massive shift for the Buffs. Let's dive in. Let's go. Squad. Energy.
Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your front range Toyota stores. It's DNVR Buffs live. Happy Thursday, boys.
Happy Thursday.
What's the word? How we feeling?
Feel great. How you doing?
The Nuggets are back tonight.
Yep.
Got Four Nations Cup. Is that what it's called?
Yes, it is.
Four Nations face-off.
Nice.
And I just feel like a hole in my life is now full.
I'm happy for you, bro.
Feels like it's been a while since we've had some real sports on.
Yep. I've been watching so much YouTube.
What, you guys didn't watch the Daytona 500 last weekend?
No, bro.
I've been watching The Sopranos.
F1 season starting soon. You guys hyped?
Nope. It stopped?
Yeah.
How long is the off season? Like 2 weeks?
Like just over 100 days.
My boy Max is about to go crazy.
Yeah, he is. That's my boy too. You know Wheel, bro.
Wow, if you're anti-Broncos, that's crazy.
No, I'm not anti-Broncos.
If you're a Broncos fan, you're a Lewis guy.
Lewis has left Mercedes. He is, I'm rooting for him.
Okay. All right.
How y'all doing? What's up, chat?
Squad.
Today on the show, what are we talking about today?
Great question.
We're talking about spring games being canceled around the country. Quite a few recruiting updates. Scott spoke to Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig about Tawfiq Byard. I'll share some takeaways from a Jehiem Oatis film room I got coming up. But we start today with Colorado's defensive line. We have a defensive line coach. And Coach Sapp got a promotion.
Yeah.
Domata Peko, former Bengal, former Bronco, is going to be coaching the defensive line in Boulder, and it is a massive shift for this team.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I love this hire. I mentioned it the other day when the name Domata Peko came up, and that is the correct pronunciation. We didn't have to wait on that one because we already covered him with the Broncos. I mentioned it when the name came up. One of the most genuinely warm humans I've ever been around. Just exudes good energy at all times. And just a joy to talk to. So that alone made me excited for this. Not to mention his experience, the fact that he was a beast in the NFL, and the fact that he seems to have a huge place in his heart for helping, young players become better. It is a massive shift though, because Damian Lewis, for lack of a better term, was a hard ass.
Yeah.
This is a guy who would scream about every day of these guys. Domata Peko is about the chillest person I've ever met in my life. Now, maybe he has a different gear for coaching.
Yeah.
He obviously had a different gear when he got into games. But it's a funny dichotomy to me to see Damian Lewis, who was like just up here all the time, and now Domata Peko, who's just like right here all the time.
Yeah, I love this hire. This is a very Coach Prime hire. Like, he has made it clear that he wants to add as much NFL pedigree and experience to this coaching staff, and he continues to do that. And Peko is just obviously the latest example of that. I mean, the man, 616 tackles, throughout his NFL career, played in over 200 games, 15 years. This man played in the NFL at a pretty high level as well. And a lot was made, last year about Robert Livingston coming to Colorado without any of his guys. And I feel like this is probably the first guy you can really point to where it has real connections, obviously, with Robert Livingston. They were together for 5 seasons in Cincinnati with the Bengals. Peko and Robert Livingston was when Livingston was a scout first before his final year there together in Cincinnati with Peko. Livingston was obviously the safeties coach. And, again, this is a guy different than obviously Warren Sapp. But Peko was coming in with some real coaching experience. Obviously, he was with the Cowboys last year. He helped the Cowboys defensive tackle, a young guy, Osa's first name. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name.
Odigizua, I think.
Oh, one more time?
Odigizua.
I think it's Odigizua.
Not sure, bro.
That guy led all defensive tackles in quarterback hits this past year, kind of under Peko's leadership. And this is another big thing, too, just for recruiting. Like, Peko has a lot of relationships in terms of the high school ranks. Obviously, potentially open up the American Samoa, the Polynesian pipeline to Colorado, which we've already maybe seen remnants of that kind of come through here in the last 24 hours with offers being sent out to certain guys. So I think this is a home run hire. And again, this brings me back to what I started with Coach Prime. Like, at this point, he is an elite staff builder. Like, that's just what it is. He has put together an elite staff here at Colorado. It took him, a week? I think it was exactly a week to find a replacement from the time that Damian Lewis's, return to Miami was announced to that we finally heard about, Peko. It didn't take that man a lot of time, which obviously tells you that nothing catches him by surprise. Like, he has plans for this. He has people in mind. Obviously, we've talked about his Rolodex of connections goes by, for forever. And just the last thing, too, like, Coach Prime has to be the one guy in college football that can get a Warren Sapp and a Marshall Faulk to coach college football. The one guy who could identify a Robert Livingston as a rising star in the coaching game before anybody else could. And this thing is just rolling in the right direction. And I'm excited to get to know Peko and see what he does with this defensive line, which is, I think, the most talented position group on the team.
Yeah, it's a great hire. He was a monster in the NFL. Of course, played for the Broncos for a little bit towards the tail end of his career. But, this is 15 seasons, 14 seasons he played in the NFL?
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't, Pro Football Hall of Famer, but this guy, he's been there and done all that. Was one of the best defensive linemen in the league for quite a while, and was part of that, defensive resurgence for the Bengals under Mike Zimmer, right?
Yeah.
One point about Robert Livingston, though, because I just saw this recently. You mentioned he was there as a scout, and, I think, some people might hear that and go, he was just a scout, right? He's probably on the road and all that. I saw recently the Bengals have 4 scouts on staff. That means those scouts are putting in work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just, there's scouting teams in the NFL that have 20-some guys. You're just out all over the country at that point. Everyone's covering a different area. Everyone's got such a specific job. But with the Bengals and how they approach their team, Robert Livingston was coaching. He was helping with the draft. He was doing everything.
That's how you can go from scout to safeties coach.
Exactly. So he knows Domata Peko. Like, it's not
Facts.
just we pass each other in the hallway.
Facts.
It's like it was not just coaching him, but they spend a lot of time together. So this is a great hire, and it's just the power of relationships that we've seen so much from Coach Prime in Colorado.
And then I think about, Coach Prime's emphasis on teaching these young men how to be professionals. And I just think Domata Peko was the ultimate example of how someone should carry themselves as a professional. And so I know that he's going to be a huge help to these guys, hopefully across the whole team, not just the defensive line, when it comes to that. And I just want to add, you mentioned this a little bit, Scotty, but the University of Colorado has a rich history with Polynesian players, from Chris Naoli, Salanesi, to Sefo Lufau more recently. The list goes on and on and on of great players. Brian Cabral was here as a coach. There's just been a great history there, and I would love to see us tap back into that, because obviously there's just great players who come from that part of the world.
Yeah.
And also, in my experience, just like with Domata Peko or with Sefo Lufau, just great people that come from that part of the world. So I hope to see this be an avenue to open back up that pipeline.
We'll get to that. With this move, though, Coach Sapp promoted the pass rush coordinator.
PRC.
Something that he told us that's exactly what he wanted to do, or like the highest he wants to go in coaching. And what better guy to do that? I mean, we'll get to Jehiem Oatis here in a second, but if there's one thing I think the defensive line could get better at, it's interior pass rush, right? So Coach Sapp, being who he is, what he's done in his NFL career, is getting to coach that into, guys like Jehiem Oatis, Gabriel Lightfoot, all these guys coming in who are veteran defensive linemen to really help elevate this defensive line. So this is look, we had a damn good 1-2 punch at defensive line coach last year, 1-2-3 punch if you add in Coach Dancy. Now you have Coach Hilo. It's at least at that level, I think, coming into 2025.
It's at the point where it's like, if you're an elite high school defensive lineman, what
Why
better
not?
place is there than Colorado to get developed, to get coached the right way? And I feel like you could say that for a couple positions on this. If you're an elite high school cornerback, what better place is there to go than Colorado learn under Coach Prime and Kevin Mathis? You can say the same thing for safety to learn under Robert Livingston. I think you can say the same thing for, even offensive line, just from the standpoint of you're going to have the chance to follow the Jordan Seaton blueprint and play really early and become, a star more than typical offensive linemen are. So the way that this program is being built from the ground up is really impressive.
On to Jehiem Oatis then. Later today, I'm going to be publishing this film room. I dug into it. There's a lot to kind of unpack with this guy, man. He's had already quite a journey in his collegiate career. He came into Alabama listed at 370 pounds as a recruit, slimmed down to like 348 his freshman season, immediately starting all 12 games that freshman year at nose tackle.
Wow.
6'5", 350 pounds. The next offseason comes along. He slims down to about 320. Alabama moves him to that 3 technique that has gotten so many players drafted in the first round at Alabama. Quinnen Williams is the first guy that comes to mind, but they've had multiple guys that play that position. This dude was dominant at times, bro.
Hell yeah.
In 22 and 23. He had some injuries. He had 3 surgeries, actually, he went through before the 2024 season. He kind of struggled getting back with that, but that resulted in him falling out of the rotation, basically. And that's why he decided to redshirt and ultimately enter the portal. This guy is insanely powerful. The punch in his hands is crazy, bro.
Let's go.
There's so many, when this film room comes out, I'm telling you, there's so many clips of him just walking offensive linemen back. And it's Texas, it's Georgia, it's A&M that he's doing this to. Like the best teams in the country. So you're going to see that from him. He's a nightmare to block one-on-one because of that. He's got like rare lateral quickness for that size.
For a big fella.
He really can move around and just his first step. It's not like a lightning quick first step, right? It's not like Von Miller or my guy from Michigan a few years ago, Maurice Hurst, who had a just wild first step off the line. But he's quick enough. And he's just a bull in a china shop, bro. It's hilarious watching him just wreck these runs. Like he just shoots across guards and they're 3 yards in the backfield. The running back literally has to take a new path, like right when they receive the handoff. He's got some pass rush and stuff in his bag as well. I mean, that's not his specialty when you're that big, obviously, but I think you're going to see more of that interior pass rush from Colorado because of Jehiem Oatis and with Coach Sapp and now Domata Peko in the fold as defensive line coach. I mean, I can't help but feel like this guy's going to take the next step, especially with Andrew Swayze too in the strength program. We've seen how how Coach Mo and a lot of those guys transformed Jordan's body over the last offseason. I think there's still a ways to go for Jehiem Oatis to transform his body as well. This guy's a game wrecker, though. The Buffs have a game wrecker now.
That's high praise.
What was the comp you said yesterday? The combination of who and who?
He reminds me of just a Buffs comp. He's like a blend of Chidozie Nwankwo and Shane Cokes. Shane Cokes did a great job of getting his hands in passing lanes and knocking passes down. He kind of played some outside, 3 technique to 5 technique, lining up over guards and tackles. Chidozie was obviously a monster at taking double teams. Jehiem Oatis can do all of that.
Yeah.
You can line him up all over the defensive line. He's going to handle double teams. He's going to shoot gaps. He gets his hands up. He deflects passes. He's going to be just a weapon for this defense.
What's he listed at now? You said he came in at 375?
Yeah, CU has him listed on their roster at 6'5", 320. Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, he was a game record too. I'm looking at it at the All-State Sugar Bowl a couple years ago against Kansas State. Will Howard, that Kansas State team that was really good, top 10 in the country at the time.
Deuce too, Deuce Vaughn.
22.
This would have been, I don't know.
I think it is.
I think it was. Yep, he's on the field right there. Yeah, there he is. Deuce. Dude was a game record in that bowl game, and I said it before. If you're good enough to play under Nick Saban, yeah. You're good enough for me. I think you can play. And again, he's obviously been through some body transformation. And again, this is somebody who, to me, fits the pedigree of the type of player that they're recruiting out of the transfer portal.
Yes, exactly.
He has a chip on his shoulder. He has something to prove after, again, cracking the rotation as a true freshman at Alabama under Nick Saban, falling out of favor for whatever reason under this new regime at Alabama under Kalen DeBoer. And he's coming to Colorado to prove a point that he belongs at, a Power 5 level, at the NFL level as well. And again, being coached by that duo and Warren Sapp and Domata Peko, the sky's the limit for him. And again, he's part of the reason why I think this defensive line is the most talented, deepest position on this team. And again, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they led the whole conference in sacks again this year.
He's the type of player that can take that to the next level. Colorado could have one of the best defensive lines in the nation this year because they have guys like Jehiem Oatis. What Anquin Barnes did in spurts last year. I mean, they've got real size on this defensive line now. Go back 2 years ago when Shane Cokes was literally the biggest guy in the defensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a crazy transformation that Coach Prime and this recruiting staff have done to this roster, bringing in players like this, because these are championship caliber players.
Yes.
Nickname proposal.
Okay.
Steel cut Otis.
What is that in reference to?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What'd you say, bro?
Steel cut oats. But he's big. He's cut.
Sure.
Strong.
Sounds
like
great
steel.
to me.
I've never heard that steel cut oats.
Because you guys aren't eating right.
You heard that before? Steel cut oats. All right.
Steel cut Otis, baby.
I like it.
Let's take a break. Shout out to the homies over at Factor. You had Factor today for lunch.
Bro, I have Factor every day for lunch now.
Yeah, I had the whole upstairs smelling good as hell yesterday.
Yeah, what was that today?
Today I had like a portobello bolognese.
Nice.
With some diced zucchini on the side. Put some sriracha on that. It was delicious.
Factor's
Sheesh.
awesome, man.
I'm locked in on Factor right now.
Hell yeah.
I'm in a dead sprint to wedding day.
Yeah.
It's Factor only. Factor only from here on out.
Go crazy.
I choose the keto boxes, but you can get low calorie. You can get Allie actually just got like a dairy free style box. So there's so many different options, and I just can't speak to how easy it is. And that's number one for me. Is it's just like I'm hungry, it's ready. 2 minutes in the microwave, 2 to 4 minutes in the microwave, and you're good to go. It's just the best. I love Factor.
Yeah, man, they're awesome. They're delicious. It's super easy, fits your schedule, and you can get a deal here, eating smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use that code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
You know what I love?
Coors Light.
Just got to throw you guys off sometimes. Throw you a little curveball. It's Thursday, but it kind of feels like Friday.
It does.
And because of that, why not have a couple Coors Lights? Ice cold. And the best part is if you're someone who needs someone to tell you when to do something all the time, there's a lot of people like that out there. The can tells you when to drink it. Just mountains are blue. It's ready to go. And just keep those cold blue mountains flowing from right now through the weekend. It's just the best. And you can actually have it delivered straight to your door when you go to CoorsLight.com/DNVR, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. And if they don't sell it and they sell beer, you have questions and you deserve answers. So celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Yeah, just wrapping up on Jehiem Oatis here. Like, I think everyone got excited about him because you saw in all the rankings and everything, right? Like
ESPN's #1.
Exactly. Like he was one of the most coveted and one of the top rated players in the portal this year. I came away even more excited just watching this. I mean, truly, this guy bounces back from his injuries, takes the next step in transforming his body.
Yeah.
This offseason, he's gonna be one of the best players in this conference, man. Like, he's a potential like top 2 round type of guy in the NFL if he keeps on that trajectory he was on at Alabama, at Colorado.
No doubt.
I'm excited. You got me hyped.
Juiced.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put some clips out later, and you'll see.
Go.
Say less.
Let's go. Buffs Twitter needs some clips.
I got you. Scotty, you also wrote something else talking to our boy Cam.
Yes, sir.
How long was your conversation with Cam?
20, 25 minutes.
Okay.
Nice.
A lot of good stuff came out of that.
Did for sure. Shout out Cam. He's always, I mean, y'all know, one of the best to just talk to and interact with. He's always more than willing to obviously elaborate on answers. And yeah, it was a great time chopping it up with him. But yeah, go check that out on the site on DNVR.com for the diehards. Just talking to Cam about Tawfiq Byard, right? The guy who I think, in my opinion, was pretty much brought in to play the Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig role here in 2025. Coming over from USF, South Florida this past year. He was a redshirt freshman, really, really disruptive. He was USF's highest graded safety by Pro Football Focus. 54 tackles, 34 of them solo, 8 tackles for loss. And I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest replicable part about Tawfiq's game compared to Cam's game is that this man is consistently around the football, consistently around the line of scrimmage for his safety. And Cam sees a lot of similarities in his game, you know, in Tawfiq's. Cam, about Tawfiq, he goes, he's a dog. He's a real scrappy, hard-nosed guy. He loves to play down in that box, and he's a real active guy all around. I feel like he's the perfect fit for Colorado with me leaving to take over that spot. I'm ready to see what he does. We've kind of fit under the same tree, Cam says. I see a lot of my game in his. And, yeah, again, the similarities kind of really just pop out on film. Like, I think of the play in the backfield Tawfiq made against Miami, you know, putting the pads on the running back 4 yards back in the backfield. Like I said, Tawfiq had, I think, 8 tackles for loss. And
Stop yourself from a pause there.
yes, I did. I'm glad I said pads. But yeah, man, Tawfiq, I think he's a day one starter for this Colorado secondary. I think it'll be him, Carter at safety, you know, DJ Colton, and you know Preston at the cornerback spots. And they're going to be coached up, and this is going to be a really good unit in that secondary. They're going to be, obviously, like I said, just coached up really well, and they all have kind of differing skill sets. Tawfiq in particular is really versatile. He can play, obviously, the pass. He can play kind of the deep safety, but he's best around the box, making plays on, you know, ball carriers. And I'm just really excited to see what this guy does from a leadership perspective as well, right? He's going to be kind of an older guy, although he's only going to be a redshirt sophomore this year. But I think he's going to be able to step into a leadership role because his game, his play kind of speaks for itself. And, yeah, Jermaine talking about Shark 2.0, yeah.
I mean,
it's really like that.
Bro, he literally quote tweeted your tweet from the article with the shark emoji.
Dang.
Like,
I love this, dude.
Yeah, no, this is literally the Shark 2.0.
It's real love between them. And it's crazy. Again, it just speaks to Coach Prime, Corey Phillips, Box's recruiting staff. How do you go out and get another Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig? Like, again, we got to see Tawfiq play on the field, but there are a lot of similarities from just the physical makeup, what they're able to do on the field, the versatility. And again, I saw a clip recently. Somebody put it, I think it was on Well Off, but Tawfiq and Draylon just getting out there and talking mess in the weight room. Like, it's going to be one of those for sure.
It just reminded me of the video of Julian when he was lifting.
I'm going to stop playing with me.
I love it.
So funny.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, man. I just love, like, we talk so much about, like, legacy or, like, whatever, you know, word that you want to use for when someone leaves what they leave behind. And, I mean, what a feather in the cap of Cam Silmon-Craig's legacy. That Tawfiq is, like, not just, like, here, like, oh, I want to fill those shoes. Like, he's truly, like, leaning in. Like, I'm the next Cam Silmon-Craig.
Yes.
Like, you got to be really for real for people to want to be the next version of you. Not a lot of times guys come in and, I'm going to do it my own way. Like, no, he said, I want to do it like him.
A lot of people would say, like, I don't know, I don't want to, you know, be compared to him or whatnot. But yeah, like, he sees they both see the similarities, and it's real love. They've chopped it up. Cam told me that he's told Tawfiq, like, whatever you need, any questions you might have about Colorado, the position, whatever, like, it's an open line of communication between those two, which is really cool as well. And they also have a shared love for Robert Livingston. The first quote that Tawfiq had pretty much after he committed to Colorado, which was to Steve Wilfang on 3, he goes, the defensive coordinator, Robert Livingston, we speak the same language. That's what Tawfiq said. Like, that sounds like that was a quote from Cam'Ron Silmon-Craig. So this is a match made in heaven. And again, Cam said it out of his mouth. This is a perfect fit to replace me. That means a lot.
We're going to get to more recruiting stuff, particularly the 2026 class in a second. But just the last couple of weeks, it's really hit home for me just how the recruiting staff completely knocked this offseason out of the park, man. I mean, honestly, every single need, every player that was going to need to be replaced got replaced with someone who fits that similar archetype. It's just awesome to see because, you go back to 2023 and it shows how important guys like Cam were coming to this team a couple of years ago. The team was memed and, everyone got their jokes in on 4 and 8, but that was such an important season in terms of resetting the culture.
Hell yeah.
Having guys like Cam come in who, the program was a blank slate at that point. Like Cam got to kind of write a legacy here.
He did.
And it's resulted in guys like Tawfiq looking at that and going, I want to be that next guy. Like, it's super important what happened that 2023. Not just Travis and Shador, but all those guys who took the chance on Coach Prime in Colorado to come in that year and do what they did and show that, this is a program on the rise. This is why we're at this point right now.
Do you think it was also the quietest recruiting season?
This year, for sure. Yeah.
It got no love from a national media.
Yeah.
No, and that's what it reminds me of, like this entire theme that we're talking about. Just like, this is the standard now. It's it doesn't need any loud noises or fireworks. It's just like, this is how we operate.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't nearly as many transfers needed because the roster is steady.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that quietness has maybe made people taken away a little bit from the hype of what the offseason was. But I think you're right, Jake. Maybe one of these days, maybe even tomorrow, we should do like a speed run of just like all of the additions that were made and, holes that were filled.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of guys left out of the portal too. And obviously that was a big storyline last year, right? Coming out of 2020. Look at all this exodus. Like they're turning the whole, turning over the whole roster. There wasn't that talk this offseason. There was obviously a couple of guys leaving, but nothing really to report on for real.
I mean, I was thinking about this yesterday while I was kind of writing this article. Like, I know that there's been some players over the last few years that have really hurt in terms of when they entered the portal. I don't know if that happened this offseason.
No.
I mean, seriously, does
Who was
anyone?
the biggest name?
You tell me.
Yeah, I mean.
Nakai Hill-Green.
Sure.
Right, definitely.
Yes.
That was one that we didn't even know
Exactly.
yet.
We didn't know. Yeah.
Right, we were expecting him to be gone anyway,
Yeah.
so that doesn't even, it's a different kind of bucket in itself. But
Right.
yeah, bro, it's just.
Yeah, they
It's
did
crazy.
a great job keeping people around. Like someone in the comments we were talking, Jehiem Oatis mentioned Anquin Barnes.
I mean, dude, I'm so hyped for him this year.
I said that to him yesterday. I'm like, I almost forget he's coming back.
Yes.
And
Tawfiq
another
Thomas
year
as well, like-
another year in the strength and conditioning, another
Yeah.
year under great coaching. And Anquin made some plays last year.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And he's
100%.
huge.
Yep.
Somebody also asked about Tawfiq's kind of measurables. 6'1", 200. And it kind of crazy to say a bigger Cam in just a bigger frame. Like
Yeah.
3 inches, 15, 20 plus extra pounds. Like that's just crazy to think about.
Facts.
And obviously also he's the younger brother of a 2-time All-Pro safety in the NFL, Kevin Byard, who just set a career high in tackles with 130 this year for my Chicago Bears. So,
Which again, I don't think it's necessarily anything against Kevin Byard, but like Tawfiq Byard could say that when he comes in. Like, I want to be
Sure.
like my brother.
Yeah,
Facts.
of
He's
course.
saying I want to be like Cam.
facts, bro. Facts.
Yeah, man. It's insane. So yeah, it's just for me, it's just really that point's been driven home, and I don't think the national media is definitely not paying enough attention to it. But I think we could, like you said, tomorrow maybe do something like that because this roster, man, like this is a legitimate Big 12 contender, and not enough people are talking about that either. There's the questions at quarterback for sure, and yes, replacing Travis is something that's way easier said than done. But this team's going to be really good this year. They're going to win football games.
I think they're gonna do it like
In a gritty way.
traditionally.
Yes, exactly.
Traditional wins.
100%, man.
They're gonna run the ball. They're gonna get play
Great
action
defense.
going. They're gonna play great defense. Yeah.
Should be a fun team.
It is. We'll do a little bit of recruiting before we hit this break. We got a handful of big-time visits, top 7, and maybe the Polynesian pipeline starting. Let's start with 2026 linebacker Isaiah Williams from Leesburg, Florida. Listed at 6'1.5", 215 pounds. He is the 91st overall player and the 7th ranked linebacker in the 2026 class. He's coming on a visit on June 17th. Multi-sport athlete, plays track and field, plays basketball as well. Has already participated in the Under Armour All-American game. This is a high-profile recruit whose stock is only going to get higher. And a linebacker, too. Something that we've talked about. You know, they've really been trying to build some young depth at linebacker over the last couple seasons. They've struck out on some guys, but they're going to keep on knocking on doors until one falls down, basically. Isaiah Williams is the next one on that list.
24/7 have him in the class linebacker?
7th ranked linebacker, 91st overall. On 3, though,
has him at number 2 linebacker in the class. So this is an elite player. Like this is
a fringe 5-star player.
No, 100%. He's before Colorado. He's also visiting Penn State, Georgia, Alabama, and then the home state, Florida and Florida State. So this is a player. It would be a hell of a get, especially at a position of need of linebacker.
Yeah, he's taking a summer visit tour. He's going to visit all those schools you said. I mean, it's all, blue bloods, blue chip, SEC schools, and then Colorado's in there.
Facts.
It's clear that what Coach Prime and this staff have done over the last couple of years is starting to resonate and hit home with a lot of these guys, because this is becoming normal. Like, there's 3 more guys we're going to talk about for visits that are 4-star, top 100 type players.
Oh, God.
It's the new normal now at Colorado. You just recruit the best players in the country.
Yep.
We will continue with recruiting on the other side of this break.
I also have an exciting recruiting update that maybe hasn't crossed your guys' desks yet.
Okay. Do you want to tell the people about Toyota?
Oh, man, I love my Toyota. Truly do, every day. Most reliable car I've ever had, not even close. It's still undefeated in terms of having to go to the shop, which I find to be remarkable. And I don't even have to knock on wood because that's how much I trust my Toyota. So shout out to them. Best cars on the road, in my opinion. And they have so many great looking models. Now, I was dead set on that 4Runner, but now I'm kind of into the Land Cruiser. Got to get myself another Toyota. And if you want to get another Toyota or your first Toyota, visit a Front Range Toyota store at a location near you, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR and me. Let's go places.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Ice Shaker, the most versatile shaker in the game, really. Take it in the gym, throw that thing around, basically. Still going to look crisp and clean, of course, with your favorite team's logo on it as well. Hit them up over at iceshaker.com. Use the code ALLCITY25. You'll get 25% off your order. Hydration is key. Even if you're not throwing it around in the gym, you need a strong, durable, water bottle with you.
Gotta have it.
Have to.
I mean, I have mine every day.
Exactly. Hit up our friends over.
Upgraded.
It's what?
I need to get upgraded to an ice shaker.
You do? A Broncos one?
I want a Buffs one. It's coming, hopefully.
It's coming. Again, code ALLCITY25 at iceshaker.com for 25% off your order. Ice Shakers, show your support for your teams with the best branded workout bottles on the markets.
Shout out Nessa, 22 years strong in the Toyota Camry.
Yeah, you love to see it.
That's awesome.
So I'm telling you, man, these things, they just don't die.
Yeah, one of my best friends in high school and college had a 05 Camry.
Wow.
That just flawlessly every time.
I remember when I did my driving class when I was getting my license. Mm-hmm. I drove a Toyota with the instructor or whatever. It had 303,000 miles on it.
Holy shit.
Hey, that's crazy.
It's wild. All right, sticking with recruiting. We have another high-profile trench player coming in on a visit this summer. Actually, sooner than this summer. He's going to come and visit before the spring game, so he's going to be able to attend practices and check it out. It's 4-star offensive tackle Johnny Jones from Berkeley Prep High School in Tampa, Florida. 6'7", 305.
I already knew he was good before you told me anything about him because of the name.
160th overall player, 14th ranked offensive tackle in the class. He will be on a visit April 5th. So he'll get to see exactly how the whole operation works. He'll get to see, Andrew Swayze doing his thing, the prep for the spring game for the 2025 season. Some of these, guys coming in like Andre Gerard, what Gunnar White is doing, but he's going to see the Hall of Famers, Marshall Faulk, Domata Peko out there doing their thing as well. So shout out to him. He's going to be out here. He's also visiting Florida and Florida State this summer. But the Buffs, I think they're his first visit.
Yep. Ole Miss after that. You said Florida, Florida State, then Penn State, then Miami. So SEC and schools within the state of Florida and Colorado.
Yep. Get used to it.
Atlanta State focused 200,000 on their Camry.
Jeez Louise.
Crazy. Next guy is 4-star quarterback Brody McCorder.
What a name.
What a name.
What a name, dog.
Bro's got to have a reality show already.
Well, he's from Cass High School in Cartersville, Georgia. 4-star player on the 247 Sport Composite, 357th overall player, 24th ranked quarterback, listed at 6'2", 205. He put CU in a top 7.
Yep.
That includes
Auburn, Indiana. Sounds like Julian Lewis. Syracuse, Mississippi State, Wisconsin, and West Virginia.
That is...
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting list.
Mr. Worldwide.
He will be visiting this summer, though, on June 15th. That kind of lines up with the Isaiah Williams visit on June 17th. I don't know if anything could ever top last year's Julian Lewis visit weekend, that OV weekend. But this might be a weekend to circle, that June 15th through 17th.
You going to be out there with the McCorder sign when he comes?
Did anyone ever thank us for that?
No. And you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity. Y'all keep trying to put me against Julian Lewis. You forget who was out there on the front lines.
Talk to him, Jake. Talk to him.
Love to see it.
But the second quarterback, obviously, coming on a visit, right? Because Oscar Rios is coming in April? Or is it in the summer?
I thought June.
Either way, it's this offseason. So they're clearly working on getting a 2026 quarterback.
Yeah,
Let's go.
that's what the good programs do.
Are you done with recruiting updates?
Last thing.
One more.
The Polynesian pipeline could be starting.
Okay.
Malachi Lee from Kamehameha High School in Honolulu, Hawaii. 6'6", 318 pounds.
6'6".
145th overall player, 11th ranked offensive tackle. He was offered by Colorado yesterday. Again, this is just the start. Also, Domata Peko has a son.
No, that was my bit.
Oh, wait, before we move on from the guy you just talked about, Malachi Lee.
Yeah.
About a week and a half ago, he told Steve Wiltfong that coaching and development are a priority in choosing a school, and I want to be able to compete and contribute early. Sounds like Colorado to me. Yeah. And his top 5 or top 6, Colorado offered him after he dropped the top 6. His top 6 is Alabama, BYU, Georgia, Michigan, Texas, USC. So this is a big dog. That would be a huge get. And if Peko can somehow, work some magic there, or if, Malachi Lee realizes truly that the opportunity to compete and contribute early is really at Colorado, this would be massive.
Go ahead.
I was hoping it hadn't come across your desk. Apparently it had.
No, I saw this.
Yeah, Domata Peko has 2 sons.
One who just went, I think, into college, right?
One who is at Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Domata Peko Jr. And then one who is class of 26, Joseph Peko.
Right.
And he's a 3-star right now, but the offer list is pretty impressive. Arizona, Boston College, BYU, California, Louisville, Miami, Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Oregon, SMU, UCLA, UNLV, USC, Washington.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. And I think I saw that like Bill Belichick was trying to recruit him recently.
Yep.
So I'm sure there's a UNC offer on there as well. Would be great. Would be great.
Bring him home, coach.
Yep.
And I can't remember if it was
6'3", 310.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got great size. I can't remember if it was. It had to have been 2 off seasons ago, before the first 2023 season. I can't remember the kid's name, but Coach Prime had a quarterback and someone else, like a high-profile athlete, visit from Hawaii. I think the coach came with them to visit Colorado. So this isn't like an untapped pipeline. Like they've been trying. I'm sure that the contacts are out there. But now with Domata Peko in the folds, it might be time to break that pipeline wide open.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And Domata Peko Jr. Was a 2023 class.
Yeah.
Athlete.
Yeah.
Does not fit the family mold. 6'4", 220.
Gee, just think about how crazy and scary this could really get. Colorado, low-key, probably already got Georgia, Texas, Florida on lock. If they really open up this IMG pipeline, if Domata Peko can really open up this West Coast kind of Polynesian pipeline, bro, it can get really scary really quickly.
They've had great success recruiting Louisiana, recruiting Michigan.
Facts.
I mean, it's a completely different approach to recruiting. It's not your typical pipeline type of, single area of a country. Colorado recruits the nation.
No, real
and they
still.
get guys from everywhere.
The world.
Yeah. Honestly, though.
Yeah.
The NFL, I can't remember what it's called. The
Academy or
yes,
right.
yeah. The NFL Academy over in London, I believe. I mean, they've tapped that one. That's where
a couple times now.
Yeah, Yo-Yo Atia came from there, as well as Kofi Taylor Barracks. That's it for recruiting, though. But yeah, man, it's an exciting time. You can see what's starting to come, and I mean, this last offseason already illustrated enough, but it's not slowing down.
Still on the upward climb. Still on the escalator.
Yep. Last thing, this is becoming a trend. And we made fun of Matt Rule for doing it. Well, he had a crazy quote about it, though. But Texas has now become the latest team to cancel their spring game. Sark said it's going to be a little bit different approach. He compared it to the NFL and OTAs. So I don't know.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I wish I had a full quote. All it says is, so it's going to be a little bit different approach. That's the only quote I have. Let me see if this is
The world great.
a full one.
A.T. Harris, you're hilarious for that comment.
Yeah, it just says they're going to a more NFL style with OTAs. So they're not going to, I mean, it's still 15 practices. It's just you're not going to have the stadium open wide.
So
or maybe
Texas,
they do.
So Texas not doing a spring game.
Texas is
Nebraska
not doing it.
a spring game.
Nebraska, USC canceled theirs yesterday, and Ohio State
State.
also not doing a spring game. Is this a new trend?
It's gonna become the norm, bro. If those programs are doing it, it's gonna become the norm.
Yeah.
But I think though, because Coach Prime, he's a blend of new school and old school, right? Like he wants this NFL type of program at Colorado.
Yeah.
I think he's old school enough though that he wants to have the spring game.
Absolutely.
Not only is it a benefit to the university, just having people come and pack the stadium, you broadcast it.
You're right.
It's one of the most watched spring games, if not the most watched spring game every year. But there's that competition aspect, I think, to a spring game, right? What we saw Isaiah Harge do last year, how Jordan Seaton talked about how that was his welcome to college football moment.
Yep.
Especially with this quarterback competition we have this year, I don't think that's something that you go away from. I mean, they're already selling tickets and they've already announced that they're having it this year, so it's going to keep going, I think. But I don't think Coach Prime is the type of coach who's going to stop doing spring games because there's a real benefit, I think, to them.
For sure. My only pitch here, if we're going to do away with the spring game, which really wouldn't matter to me, the spring game is one of the most, just like, for lack of a better term, blue balls experiences. You think you're about to see football, and then you realize, nope, still got a long time before I see any football. I would just love to see it replaced with like a closed door scrimmage like you get in basketball, where you actually get to play another local team, and just like, if you don't want people to be able to scout your roster, which is what Matt Rule said about it, that's fine, but like, let's let these guys play somewhat of a football game at the end of spring. And honestly, I would love to see it again in the fall.
I think you mentioned it before too, and I don't know if this is what you were going at right now, but playing another team like it's like a scrimmage, right?
Yes.
Even if it's a
Northern Colorado,
a lower tier
Mines,
team,
yeah.
right? I think that would
CSU
be
Pueblo.
a much better idea. But yeah, I don't think Coach Prime, like I said, I think this might become a trend amongst college football, but I don't think this is something that Coach Prime is going to subscribe to. He realizes the unique, opportunity viewing experience that watching a Colorado football game, even if it's a spring game, has for revenue, TV purposes, and money and whatnot for the program. So he's not going to pass up that opportunity, even if handful of other coaches, even more than a handful around the country, decided to go that route.
100%.
What was Texas? Someone said Texas's reasons make sense. What are they?
He's just said they want to do a more NFL-like OTA approach.
That can't be it.
I mean, if you want to watch the press conference and dig into it, this is the only quote in this article about it, though.
I'm going to find a new article.
They do mention in this article, USC just canceled theirs amid a changing landscape in college athletics. The Trojans are hosting a fan appreciation event instead.
Here we go. I got it.
Okay, what is it?
Easy as pie. A couple reasons why Sarkisian said on Up and Adams, a friend of the show is a friend of this program.
Absolutely.
100%.
Over the last 2 years, we played 30 games. That's a lot of college football. 14 2 years ago, 16 this year. And I just mentioned we've had 25 guys get invited to NFL Combine in the last 2 years, so we've got a lot of young players on our roster. We have 21 mid-year high school kids that just showed up, and that's the development that's needed for these guys to get ready for fall is a little bit different than it used to be. I actually don't think that makes any sense.
Bro, what?
Our approach is going to be a little bit more NFL-driven, kind of more like OTA style early on as we grow into more scrimmage formats in the second half of spring ball. I just don't know if rolling the ball out and playing the game when we only get 15 practices is the best for us to maximize the opportunities that we get.
Bro, the first part kind of pissed me off. Where he's like, we played 30 games over the last 2 years. So what? A spring game is going to be too much for y'all? That makes no sense.
I thought that's what he was getting at, but then he never really finished that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because spring games are the most violent games on the schedule usually.
Right, bro. And again, like he said, like a spring game is pretty much just one of your 15 spring practices.
Yes.
Like
No.
you treat it like a practice pretty much in terms
Literally.
of the, how hard you go in terms of hitting and whatnot. So I don't really get that reasoning, but
Apparently USC's was due to stadium. They're upgrading their stadium or something. They can't just play it at a local high school.
No
hey,
idea.
somebody did say we were talking about Colorado spring game. Bro, they should just, since they're not playing CSU, bro, that should be the spring game, bro.
No.
No?
You're going to risk getting hurt again from
Yeah, it's true.
Cheap Shot University?
It's true.
You would really be worried about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Under this current coach, absolutely.
Also, potential idea: move the spring game to like Scottsdale. We don't have to worry about the weather anymore.
Sure. Please, God.
Fair enough. That'd be dope.
All right.
I mean, don't like the Cowboys go practice in like California
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
like Oxnard or something
Yeah.
like that? No. Invite a smaller tier team.
They are a smaller tier team.
Don't. CSU's already taken so much shine from Colorado. Why even give
Not
them more?
from they just like get the reflection of Colorado
Yeah.
shine.
Why
hits
not help
them.
Lil Bro out?
Bro.
Nah.
All right, bro.
I'm with Jake.
right,
Give
say
me
less.
mines.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear
No,
you.
give the Mines boys an opportunity on the big stage.
Yep.
Fair enough.
A real program.
Yes. All right, let's get to the chat. Best Man says, I'm late, so has there been any recent interviews with Marshall Faulk yet? He spoke with someone at the Super Bowl, like the day it was announced.
But was it even about?
I sent you guys that one quote. I don't know if it like they, based the whole interview off of that, but he was asked at least one question.
You guys don't know how pissed I was when I saw that.
Yeah.
Because for those of you at home,
I got no response from that text, by the way.
what time?
When I showed y'all the day after we got home, and I was like, by the way, Marshall Faulk was there yesterday.
I just didn't know what to say.
And then I sent the video, and I was like, "How did this guy?"
No, you said the first, and then he said
okay.
the follow up with the new
yeah.
video.
Okay. You guys don't understand. We were literally scouring the grounds of radio/media row, not just for Marshall Faulk, but for anyone
Anybody
who
who's
might
tall,
know Marshall Faulk. It was so topical and perfect, and we're in an NFL event, and it's just like, there's got to be someone here who knows Marshall Faulk, who wants to talk about him.
It got to a point where we were just
Asking production assistants. You ever met Marshall Faulk? And we did get one yes, but they didn't want to come on the show. So then when I saw that he was on Radio Row, and I mean, he must have just gone in, did that interview, and left.
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
Yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. Dave says, can someone explain moving Hilo from linebackers to defensive ends? He seems so important to how well the linebackers played last year. And we have Sapp and Peko for the D line, including defensive ends.
Let me just
ahead.
counter question. Based on what made him seem so important to the linebackers? Because I feel like people just gave Coach Hilo credit, not saying he didn't deserve it, because they just don't want to give it to Coach Hart for whatever
That's exactly
reason.
it. That's exactly it.
I think the team of Coach Hart and Coach Hilo did a really great job.
Yeah.
And Coach Hilo was at a lower level on the staff. He did such a good job that when a higher level position opened up, they wanted to keep him, and so they gave it to him.
Also, defensive end is usually / outside linebacker. Like,
Right.
the front seven is, you can separate the positions. You have different coaches, but it all works in conjunction. Like, Coach Hilo is not going to stop going over run fits at halftime. Like, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
SN Services, Jehiem Oatis has 3 years or 2 years of eligibility. He has 2 years to play 2.
Oh.
So if he has a good enough season, he could go to the NFL after this year.
That would be very good news.
This is a hell of a question.
Jermaine's asking, hey, FDP, do you think RK will let RG film the wedding so we can watch it?
I don't think it would be letting RG. It would be hiring RG. We'll have some content. We'll make sure of that.
Atlanta State Focus says,
It's
Gibson.
not going to be like the royal wedding with a full live stream.
Come on. Gibson is looking just like Wester. He is about business. Do you see it? We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen
Hell
it.
yeah.
Seen it since we heard the name.
No, bro.
Is Adrian Wilson still with the team?
Is this a new saga? New
bro,
saga just dropped? Where is Adrian Wilson?
Where did
Okay.
this come from?
We need to make a new rule. Exactly. If you're going to drop this stuff, you need to tell us why
why
you
you're
think
asking.
this is going
I'll,
on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the answer to every single one.
They didn't
I
see
haven't
them
seen
on
them in a
well
few
off.
well ups in a
Yes.
row.
Yeah.
If that's
You gotta
it,
stop
like
doing
I have nothing to say.
True. If there's something else, then
Yes,
happy
please.
to look into it.
Ivan asks, what position group is the biggest concern for the Buffs heading into Spring Bowl? Linebacker or running back's a big one too. I mean,
I
there's
wouldn't say concern, but question mark.
Question mark.
there's a question mark at quarterback, obviously, who's going to start.
Michael Welch might just be a star.
Absolutely, I'm with you.
I think all three of us believe that.
Yeah.
I would say probably offensive line still at this point.
For
in
sure.
terms of question mark.
For sure.
We know we're confident in one of the five. We still got to see the rest of that 4/5 how that shakes out.
Dave Rich, Ice Shaker will have Buffs options soon enough.
Amen.
Ivan, what are we hoping to see in this upcoming spring game besides good weather? I mean, good weather.
Good weather. The quarterbacks. Good weather and the quarterbacks.
Yes.
Want to see a quarterback separate.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna pitch Coach Prime on my Scottsdale idea. There's no way that he won't like that idea.
You could just mention Dallas, make it
That's
even easier.
literally what I was
That's
going to
true.
say.
That's true. I was just thinking shorter flight,
Fair enough. Yeah.
but Dallas makes sense too because you'll sell out wherever you do it there too.
Yep. Go take over North Texas again.
Although I don't know if I could turn down an opportunity to go to Folsom Field. Maybe
True.
I won't give that idea. Forget I ever said it.
Rev BJ Nelson says this is the beginning of the USO invasion.
Hell yeah.
Let's hope.
First time I read that, I thought it was USO.
You're like,
I'm
what is the United
USO?
States?
FF18 Buff says, boys, if the college football playoff gave the Big 12 2 automatic qualifiers, would you be fans of buying out games like Delaware and Weber State games and finding bigger games, P2 for bigger money and bigger viewership because no lose in league play?
No.
I think you should schedule free wins when you can. Still.
Everyone else does it.
Yes.
So like we haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
We've had all these stacked schedules and it feels like so stressful.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to just have a warm-up game once in a while.
No, since I've been covering this team, it's been like
Yeah.
damn near a Power 4 or Power 5, like out of conference.
I don't
First year was TCU,
Air
Minnesota,
Force.
Air Force,
So, yep.
Nebraska, CSU, TCU
Yep.
2 years ago. This year it was NDSU, which, I mean, that's
Might as well have been a
exactly
Power 4 game.
national champion, Nebraska, and who am I missing
Colorado
from this year?
State.
Colorado State.
Colorado State.
Forgettable game because it's such an ass beating.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no. If Alabama's scheduling Mercer in November,
Right.
let me at least get Delaware in September.
For sure.
Delaware is FBS too, by the way. They're in Conference USA.
I feel
That's
like
new.
Someone brought it up in the chat a while ago, and I looked and I was like, oh wow,
really.
yeah.
I was wondering, like, I feel like we're the weirdest at scheduling these FCS and or lower level games. Like, you got to pay these schools to come here.
Right.
Delaware? Going all the way as far as we can go from Colorado in the country to schedule this game?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, this is their first year in the FBS level at Conference USA. Last 3 years, though, they've been
I was going to say they must have been good.
they've been a good team. In 2022, they lost to South Dakota State in the second round of the playoffs. In 2023, they lost to Montana in the second round of the playoffs.
Good teams.
This last year, they went 9-2 and somehow did not make the playoffs. So,
How?
yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, no, I mean, and then we have Wyoming too,
Yep.
which is basically just Colorado State,
Yep.
but better.
Damn, I look, you didn't know Delaware was like that over the last few
I
years.
literally found that out like in the last week. Yeah.
All right, here we go again.
Right. No, I would say, like, obviously this is my first year covering the team here in 2024, but I guess in retrospect you can say Colorado State, but there wasn't a game that I was like, yeah, this is an easy win. You know what I'm saying? There weren't any real gimmies on the schedule, which you're probably thankful for at the end of the year because you've been so battle tested, but it makes for a stressful time week to week, no doubt.
Facts.
Tom Loy from 247 tweeted this out. Back to Brody McCorder. He's coming on 2 visits this offseason. He will visit for spring practices April 9th through the 12th, and then he's coming on an OV from June 13th to the 15th. In those schools that were listed in his top 7, he's only making double visits to Colorado, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Syracuse. Or actually, no, this is all 5 of them. Indiana's in there too, right? In his top 7?
He's not going back to West Virginia for a second.
So West Virginia is the one, and there's another team, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I had some quotes from him. I don't know where they went, but he said he wants to, I think, commit by the time football starts this season.
Love it. That's what Julian Lewis said.
Oh, that was different.
Who you want, bro? You want Brody McCorder or Oscar?
Give me
Rios?
Oscar, bro. I told you, bro. I saw a picture of him and I was like, yep, that's a need. Bro, it's just, you don't want to be on. He's just a dog. He's just a dog.
Period.
I could just tell.
We have 5 minutes to kill.
What was I just about to say? Oh, Jesse Marion asked, most spring games are free. GT's spring game is free. I would say it's basically just a line of like supply and demand. When Colorado was trash, their spring game was free too. And actually, even when Colorado was good, their spring game was free. Just when Coach Prime got here, it was like, okay, well, we really need money.
Yeah.
So let's make some off of this because people want to come to it. But like Nebraska charges, Ohio State charges, Alabama
Isn't it like
charges.
$10 though? Like
Yeah.
it's not like a cheap or expensive ticket.
It's not at all.
Sheesh.
What else you got for us, Jake?
That's all I got.
Who you taking in the
Four
formations
Nations?
tonight? This is a hot button topic.
I mean, I'm gonna take my squad, bro. USA. What?
How does it work? Like, what's like the format? I don't know nothing about it.
This is the final.
It's just this is the
oh,
championship.
this is the
Yeah.
It's
USA
versus
versus
Canada.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's gonna be fire then.
Yep. I'm cheering for my Avs.
I
does that
respect your
mean?
decision.
There are 3 Avs on Team Canada and there are no Avs on Team USA.
Interesting.
And I got hate for this last time I did it, but it's true to myself.
That should be fun.
I respect you for sticking to your guns like that, though, bro.
It's not like forced, it's just natural. Like I see my favorite players out there. I want them to succeed.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like, I'm not a big Avs fan, but I feel like I'd do the same. Like if
Yeah.
I was, so
Y'all see LeBron and Luka lose last night to Charlotte in LA?
Now the Nuggets get Charlotte coming off of a
Back-to-back, yeah, it's
emotional
crazy.
high.
and they have the Nuggets on Saturday, right?
And the Nuggets get the Lakers after
on
that,
Saturday,
yeah. Aren't LeBron and Luka 1 and 2 now?
I think that's about right, probably. think that's right.
What do you mean 1 and 2?
Like they won one and lost 2 of the 3 games that they've played together.
I thought you meant literally 1 and 2.
Oh, like, I mean, they are on their team at least.
Yeah, Luka was bad last night, but that game is gonna be cracking, bro. You know, I feel like Luka just he brings his game up when Nikola Jokic is on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's gonna be make sure y'all slide to the DNVR bar, man. We're gonna be watching it. It's gonna be a time.
We're gonna have a time for sure on Saturday.
Yep.
Hit that like button for us. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. If you didn't watch yesterday's show,
Right.
You got to go check that out.
Definitely.
Yeah, shout out
Reggie
Reg.
Calhoun Jr. was awesome. Really insightful. I felt like we learned a lot about just the new world of NIL,
Yes.
which seems to be ever changing. But that's one of those ones. I know it's the dead of the offseason, so people are a little bit tuned out. But, you know, if you didn't watch it. Maybe text a friend. You should check this out because I felt like it didn't get the love it deserved.
100%. I mean, it's the off season. I get it, but it was very informative. And with how many questions there are with the House versus NCAA settlement going on and just everything changing, Reggie helped clear a lot up, I think.
But was dropping gems, dropping free game. Make sure y'all go check that out. One last thing too, we didn't bring this up when talking about Domata Peko, but he has a relationship with Chris Henry Jr., the #1 receiver in the class of 2026. Just last week, it was reported that Chris Henry Jr. will be under the guidance of Domata Peko. Obviously, Chris Henry Jr.'s father tragically passed away some years back, but that could be interesting, especially with Pac-Man Jones also being Chris Henry Jr.'s ear, and obviously having a real relationship with Coach Prime. If Domata Peko can somehow help the Buffs land Chris Henry Jr., that would be worth the hire in itself. Everything else would just be icing on the cake. So stay tuned to that.
Watch out.
He's going to be such a beast.
Yes, the dog.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow, rounding out the week on a Friday. See you then.
Friday.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.